This episode, I want to go over all things hybrid training, how I structure my week, how I structure my training, to really give you an understanding as to how you can implement it, to get the very most out of your training as well. Because I definitely have some different perspectives on it. I think it is the best training model for everyone, not just people that are competing in marathons, Ironmans, etc. I think the hybrid training model for me, if we're looking at it from a first principles thinking, it's the training of the body, the mind and the heart. Okay, we always want to make sure that we're looking after those three things, regardless of the marathon times, the amount of weight you can squat. It's like looking after what it means to be a human being as first principle thinking. So today I'm going to take you through my day's training. So today's Thursday, it's my favorite training day of the week. Going to kick things off with an early morning, it's about 9 a.m. here, speed power session. Sprinting for me is something that is a non-negotiable on a weekly basis. I heard a stat the other day, it's probably complete bullshit because I got it off an Instagram reel, where 90% of men and women over the age of 30 will never sprint another day in their lives. Don't be in that 10% people, right? Sprinting is something that we have evolved to be able to do, and to neglect moving our bodies quickly is, in my opinion, to neglect being human. So let's get into this session one. Later I have threshold work, and then we'll make sure that we give you a sample week and you get an understanding of what goes on up here when it comes to hybrid training. Cheers, guys.
Why do they talk like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they walk like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they act like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Why do they rap like gangsters, but they don't move like gangsters? Change don't change like it used to. Who runs the roost round here? The coop's gone clear. Got the heart from the bass to the snares, but the word is what's keeping them here. Word to my peers, the work don't stop till the top. Think it's resting, but we're not. I spread the message and it's love. I get the S and the P and the R from above. I see them restless with the keys and the palm for the bump. A bit of grinding up the herb is what I'm on. Shouts go out to mums. This one is the icy one. Go get the long johns. 50 Pret in London, if it's on then I'm on. I know they feel it when I spit, it's like the Missy song.
That session, as I sort of said, took about 40 minutes, so it doesn't take long. And I think that the best part of that whole session is the warm-up, going through those movements, because when you're in the gym, it's very easy to become one-dimensional. It's just up and down, you haven't got the space. So learning to move your body through space is important, guys. So again, just looking after yourself, training well, and yeah, I'm going to go and meet my new niece. My brother had a daughter, his second daughter last Wednesday. Haven't met her yet, so I'm going to go and do that today. And then when I come back, we're going to be going through some threshold work later today, so catch you there.
Wrong, like the early European maps of North America. You kind of get one coastline right. The children actually turn out quite differently.
Is that nice or not? What you got? What is it?
What's happening, beautiful people? So back from my brother's. What a madhouse that was for a couple of hours. Had all of my nieces and nephews there, both my brothers, their other half. So amazing to see my new niece, Maeve. So she's a little cute bag, like tiny little thing, only a week old now. So that was amazing. I'm now about here on where I do my thresholds. So I've got a 3 kilometer loop that I kind of just run around nice and flat. So that's the plan today. On the agenda, I have 6 by 1 kilometers, aiming for about 4:30 pace, with a 200 meter runoff in between. I'll do about a 3 kilometer warm up, so just one loop, and then the games will begin. So yeah, so I've got 40 grams of carbs in here with some sodium, just to fuel it. I've also got a couple of gels with me. So the gels I kind of use are my favorite ones. I'm not a big fan of all like the fucking chemical based ones. So Hilltop Honey has some added electrolytes with some salt. No shitty ingredients, it's literally just honey and salt, really, to be fair. So it's pretty nice. So I've got 2 of them with me just in case I start to feel a bit flat, because these are my sort of up-tempo run for the week. So I want to get the most out of it. But I'll report back when I'm done. Right, so just back from my threshold run, come back to the gym. It's a bit windy out there and yeah, it's a bit warmer in here. Marginally, not really. Anyway, so finished up. So as I sort of mentioned, I had a 2.5 kilometer warm up. I then had 6 1 kilometer repeats with at threshold. So I was aiming for around the 4:30 mark with a 200 meter jog in between and then just a cool down. I finished that up. Let me get the data up. I'm going to pop it on the screen anyway, but I'll read it out to you. I did the first kilometer in 4:35, so a little bit slower than I wanted to. Then I did 4:26, 4:26 again, 4:23, 4:29, and then I finished with a 3:40. I kind of went a bit hell for leather on that last one. I like to finish strong on these intervals to see what I've got at the back end. So that was a good session. This is the high volume week of this first block of training for me. So next week's a bit of a deload, so looking forward to that. So just to wrap this video up and kind of tie it all together. So how I structure a training week, right? So I train every day. I try to train at least once every day. I think that is a 1 hour a day is a relatively small investment to look after our physical health. Now, there are some days that I train 2 a days. My Tuesdays and Thursdays tend to be a bit more relaxed. On Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, I'm down in London. So I'm up at 4:30, I'm down in London for 7. And then I train in the evenings when I get back with a training group here. So to give you a little bit of an outline, my cardio side of things, so my running training at the minute is I do 4 running sessions a week. They are on a Tuesday, which is a sort of medium easy run. So slower than marathon pace for around about an hour. Thursday is my thresholds, that's today. So that's kind of built up. Week 1, I did 4 rounds of the kilometer repeats. Week 2 did 5, and then this week did 6. Next week will be a deload. Saturday is just a super easy, but slower than marathon pace, 30-minute run. So it's more just to kind of drip feed some volume in because there's going to be some more volume coming later on in this program. And then Sunday is my long run. Okay, so week 1 of this program, I did 14 kilometers. Week 2, I did 16. So last Sunday. This Sunday, I have got 21, so I'm doing a half marathon this Sunday. Again, slightly slower than marathon pace, so we're not pushing the needle just yet. We're just getting the body conditioned to the volume that we need to be able to handle as we get to the later stage of this program. So when it comes to the lifting, I lift on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now, I have my long run on the Sunday, so legs are always a little bit battered and I want an opportunity to recover before my run on Tuesday. So Monday is always upper body training. Okay, so I push the needle a little bit on the upper body stuff because, you know, it's the volume on the legs I want to be a bit cautious of with all the running. So I will go a little bit ham. There's a combination of both powerlifting and sort of bodybuilding in there, and I'm not too worried about overcooking the volume too much. I mean, you'll see from, I'm going to leave all the screenshots of this week's programs that I did on this, so you can kind of get a feel for what I'm doing. Wednesday is lower body training. I will incorporate some jumps and athletic movements in there. You saw some of the pogo jumps and the athletic movements that I did in my warm-up this morning. So I still try to incorporate them on my lifting days as well. I never want to lose the ability to be an athlete, you know, to move in many different dimensions, not just up and down like you do in most gym exercises. And then Friday is a full body session. So I will do things like a trap bar deadlift, I will do deadlift, but nothing super heavy, okay? We're just getting a little bit of volume in there, maybe some circuit, like a 3 or 4 exercise kind of circuit, going lower body, upper body, lower body, upper body. Again, I'll show you. That one will kind of change on a week-to-week basis, just trying to be some top up, there'll be some shoulders, there'll be some arms, nice little sort of upper body pump and some hamstrings and posterior chain work that I always like to include in there. And then if I want to do a second session on a day, if I am feeling good, then anything else that I do will only be bodyweight stuff. So push-ups, pull-ups, you know, bodyweight lunges, bodyweight squats, maybe some jumps. I will pepper that stuff in if I'm feeling good. But the reality is that there's a lot of balls being juggled in the air when you're a hybrid athlete. And I'll also include at least one sprint session. So this week I did it on a Thursday. In an ideal world, I'd do it on a Tuesday morning, but I've been getting a deep tissue massage on a Monday evening, and I'm waking up in the morning, my legs have been pounded and a bit tender. So I've been doing them Thursday mornings at the minute, but I probably will shift them back to a Tuesday. So that gives you a bit of an overview. I'm doing a lot, all right? So there's key things that we need to make sure that, because any hybrid athlete is doing a lot, regardless of whether you're doing 2-a-days or 1-a-days, right? If you're trying to train every day of the week, which I do, then there's a huge importance on making sure we look after ourselves outside the gym, make sure we're eating well, we're getting enough sleep, we're getting enough water. This is the discipline that it takes and the sacrifice it takes to be able to look after ourselves physically, right? So that's something I will always try and do. So making sure I get a massage, making sure I take time to stretch and look after my body so that I can keep up with this, right? Because my biggest, or anyone's biggest obstacle when it comes to increasing our performance and becoming the best version of ourselves is going to be getting injured, right? I want to not get injured at all costs, because if the person who lifts the longest or goes the longest will get the strongest or get the fittest, right? So injury is going to be our biggest problem. So making sure we look after ourselves, mobility work, massages as and when you can, just good quality warm-ups. I'm going to do a video on my warm-up because I think the warm-up is vitally important and something that is hugely overlooked. My warm-up is extensive and it goes through mobility of all the joints, and I try and do that at least once every day. Sometimes if I'm training twice, I will do it twice. So I'm always being very proactive about making sure that I'm not getting stiff at any joints. I'm not accumulating wear and tear and picking up niggles. And I think that's really important, and making sure my nutrition's on point and all of this thing, and we're getting enough sleep. So that is an overview of my training, right? So just to recap, my runs: Tuesday, medium, easy run, about an hour long. Thursday is thresholds. Saturday is a 30 minutes slower than marathon pace run. Sunday is long run, okay? Monday, I go into upper body lift. Wednesday is lower body lift. And then Friday is full body lift. And then either on a Tuesday morning or a Thursday morning, I will do some speed work with some jumps, because I think it's vitally important that we look after our athleticism. Now, just as a kind of wrap up here, is that you'll see this in a lot of the videos, is that I'm very much a sort of evolutionist when it comes to training, nutrition. So I think that there are certain things that we need to make sure we're looking after before we worry about squats, deadlifts, bench presses, right? Looking after the way we move, you know, making sure that, because we are locomotion-based creatures. So our walking gait, our running gait, our sprinting gait are all primal things that we need to make sure that we're doing, right? I never want to get to a point where I can't sprint, jump, run, you know? So I'm always going to drip feed those in on a regular basis. And I want to be doing them when I'm 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, right? I want to be sprinting for the rest of my life. And in order to be able to do that, it means I've constantly got to practice it. I don't think it takes much, once a week, but I'm very strict on making sure I do that. And I think that as a human being, that we need to look after the way we move, because we only get one body, and you're only going to regret it when you haven't got it. And like I say, I'm just turning 40 in March, and I work in an industry, so I work in injury rehab essentially. And I've seen people that are broken, and trust me, you don't want to get to a point where you lose quality of life. So whether you're in your teens, in your 20s, in your 30s, and you're watching this, if the one message that you get from anything that I do and anything that I post, it's look after the body, look after the mind, and look after the old ticker, all right? So if you can do that, then we can be doing this for as long as we can. I'm going to leave those screenshots on the end for this week's training. But if you have any questions, and I mean that, if you have any questions, chuck them in the comments section below. If you've got this far on the video, please chuck a like. It lets me know that this content's being received well. But until next time, guys, have a great week.